Hello Blue Moon fans! In today's video I'm going to talk about what happens if your pocket belt is too small for you. So a couple weeks ago I did a video about resizing if your belt is too large, like if you lost weight, but I can't believe I forgot to mention what happens in the other case, the opposite case, if your pocket belt is too small for you. I have a couple of tips. So the first one is something you can probably do yourself. So it's a pretty simple fix, which is essentially you put a longer ribbon on the pocket belt. This is something that I did myself when I was pregnant. I actually replaced the ribbon with elastic, which was nice because I wanted something that was a little bit softer. And you know, I wasn't able to wear my pocket belt past a certain point because I just had way too much belly and it didn't fit anymore. Like it would like fall off because the belly was too big. But that's when a holster comes really in handy. But if your pocket belt, you know, if you've reached the end of your ribbon and there's nowhere else to go, you can get a longer length of ribbon. Each pocket belt has about 2 yards, so you would just get, 2.5 or 3 yards even. And I've talked about this in other videos, especially the ones with Very Fairy Amanda, because she actually prefers a slightly smaller size of belt with a larger lacing gap. Because what that does is it actually shifts the pockets around to the front, like over your hip bones, instead of being right down the side seam. So if you have like a longer, you make the gap wider in the back and the pockets kind of stretch around to the front a little bit. So some people even just prefer that by default. So that's always a possibility. Or, replacing with an elastic ribbon, that's also available. If your belt is still too small, there is another option that would require me to make you a custom spacer. And I've done this in the past a couple of times. I don't have good pictures of it, unfortunately, so I can't really show you, but I can describe. Essentially what that would be is a rectangle of fabric that would have grommets down the side. And so instead of having just one lacing gap, you would actually have 2. So this is good for if there's a dramatic weight increase and you need more than maybe 3 or 4 inches, 5 or 6 inches maybe, or if there's this was the situation where I did it before was, the belt I had was a small and she was a large and she didn't want to have that big gap in the back. So I was able to make a custom spacer because I had just enough of that fabric. So if that's your situation, reach out to me and see if I have more of the fabrics that went into making your belt, because you might get lucky and I might still have it, or if it was recent, because I do run out of fabric sometimes because everything's coming to me as scraps and I don't always have a consistent supply of the same stuff, which is part of what makes everything unique, but the downside of that is that I don't have more when I need more fabric. It's as simple as a text message or an email or a Facebook message. Just send me a photo of your belt and say, hey, I need a spacer. Do you happen to have this fabric? Because I gained some weight and my belt doesn't fit anymore. Because my goal, I've said this in other videos, my goal is that you have a belt that you can use. If you happen to change size, let's keep it being useful to you. I am committed to making sure that my stuff is getting used and not just stuck in a drawer because it doesn't fit you anymore. I am committed to the long term. When you get bigger, when you get smaller, let's make it work. I want to make sure that my stuff is out there in the world being useful to you. So I am committed to that. You'll see a link to my Etsy shop in a minute where you can shop wonderful new pocket belts that fit you. I also would love to hear from you if you have any ideas for FAQ videos that I haven't done yet. I feel like I'm kind of coming to the end of my list of stuff that I wanted to talk about, so I'm kind of running out of ideas. Please, I would love to hear from you if you drop a comment below, if you have things that I haven't mentioned yet that you'd love to know about my business, about my design philosophy, any of the stuff that I make. I'd love to hear from you. So yeah, please feel free to reach out. Thank you for watching.